We're carrying on with what is a covalent bond, and we've just used water as our example. So these are nonmetals that share electrons to get full outer shells. So this is called a covalent bond. Another word for these compounds is molecules. So sometimes you hear the word molecule used to mean just about any compound, but technically speaking, the word molecule or molecular compound refers to covalently bonded atoms. So, like for example, salt, sodium chloride, uh, technically speaking, that wouldn't be a molecule. You'd say that's an ionic compound. Okay, not terribly important, but that's what it means. Some nonmetals form what are called diatomic molecules. If you take a look at that word diatomic, you could probably figure out what it means. Di means two, so two atom molecules. And you'll be familiar with some of these, like hydrogen as a gas at room temperature, H2, oxygen, O2. There's 7 total which you are responsible for. Br2, iodine, nitrogen, and chlorine. Okay, now I have those memorized, and that's not just because I'm a nerd. It's because I've learned a little mnemonic to help me remember which elements form diatomic molecules. Hofbrinkel, Hofbrincl, Hofbrinkel. Hofbrinkel. So that's one way to remember. Another way is if you look at these elements on your periodic table, you'll see they form a shape that's kind of like this on one side, and then you've got hydrogen up at the top left, usually. So hockey stick and puck. That's sort of the Canadian way to remember. Okay, so let's look at an example. Fluorine gas, obviously, is F2. We just mentioned it's diatomic. So if we were to draw the Bohr model for F2, so the whole molecule, I'll just do one fluorine first of all. So fluorine has 2 electrons and then 7 electrons, so 9 total. It's atomic number 9. So there's one fluorine, and then we'll draw the other fluorine, and this one we'll draw its electrons as X's just to keep them distinguishable. I didn't draw the shell all the way over here. Okay. Okay, so both atoms have a full outer shell because these 2 electrons are being shared. Okay, these electrons that are not being shared, there's a word for these. They're called lone pairs. Okay, and then this pair of electrons here is referred to as a bonding pair. And one thing I wanted to point out is that these covalent bonds, they're very strong. However, the attraction between molecules is quite weak. So here's what I mean. So methane gas, that's the gas we have in the classroom from the taps, CH4. So if we were to draw a Bohr model for methane, it might look like that. Okay, and sometimes we replace those dots with sticks. What I'm saying is those bonds are quite strong, but the attraction between neighboring methanes is quite weak, and that's why methane is a gas. These molecules are not held together very tightly.